Thank you. Can you guys hear me? I was freaking out because I thought I was the presentation right after the coffee break, and when Doug started talking about AI, it's like shit. Um, so Gloria, thank you. There is AI in my presentation, but it's by no means that. So hi everybody. I just want to echo the comments as well. First loyalty conference, first media post conference. I'm an ad tech veteran, having been in that industry for 25 years. I did CES and did 36 meetings in 3 days last year. I can tell you it's not very personal. And by the nighttime, I was in bed crying because I had to come up and do like next. So, for those that I've met, thank you for your hospitality, just your kindness. I sat across from Whitney from American Airlines last night. We really get along well. Like there isn't any like inter-airline issues. Even met two of my own colleagues who work within the same organization who I haven't previously met. But thank you for the culture. Thank you for the hospitality, the warmth. I'd love to come back, and I probably contingent upon what I say over the next 20 minutes. So, putting the traveler first, right? So yeah, travel can be a hassle, right? We all know it. And thank you for all the comments about Newark Airport. Right? Working on it, trust me. But it doesn't have to be a hassle, right? There's certain things in your control, certain things out of your control. And for us, I, I've been thinking about this the whole time. Like, should it be candid? Should it be what? I'm doing my best. Oh, sorry. Like, yeah. Literally, I've been trying to think about what I'm going to do when he comes with the camera. So it's right. So did I do well? Um, but the idea is to really think about not necessarily the passenger, but the person. We're all travelers here. It comes down to it. Even Charles, who lives in Nashville, is a traveler, right? And so when we travel, we are who we are. When I travel, I still like Indian food. I still like golf. I'm still a foodie. I'm still uh, not a gym rat, but I like working out. And you want that continuity. And so the idea of saying, well, hey, thanks for traveling. You purchased seat 10A. I'm going to get you from point A to point B on time. Like, yes, like, no, right? The airline industry is commoditized. The hospitality industry is commoditized when it comes down to it. It's the ability to identify and understand people and their interests and what they like, they don't like, and how to really craft that journey around the individual, right? So, Mileage Plus, I have to put this slide in. We are the leading loyalty program for the airlines in the world. I'm really proud to say that. It'll be 2 years for me at here in United in August, and it's been the most fascinating journey of my life. I thought I was coming into a very sepia tone environment with like the short sleeve shirt and like the ties, and everyone was just sitting around government regulations. And I could not tell you of a more dynamic environment that we've been welcomed into, and we're building as well. Um, when we think about it, like I come from ad tech where it's all about data, right? Behavioral, lifestyle, it's just all these acronyms as well about like what it actually means. But at the end of the day, like we have to redefine this journey. We're at a point now where we have insights that we can actually use to understand how to make things more personalized for people. We have to focus on really what those touch points are, right? Travel is not just when you get on the plane and when you get off the plane, right? It's the inspiration. I want to go somewhere, right? I want to go to Canada. That was a really good presentation. I'm going to go in the summertime though, because I don't like cold weather, right? It is that planning piece of it. It is the day of your travel. Oh, what gate am I at? Where am I supposed to park? Right? What's going on? Like, where's the nearest Chick-fil-A? Getting into the airport, right? Bless you. Bless you. Um, I'm not meaning to pick on you, but I'm having fun. And so it's sort of like, well, can I get into a club, right? Can I figure out the quickest way to my gate when I'm on the plane, right? What does the seat back say? Do I have to watch that same United Cruises ad for the next 3.5 hours because the person next to me hasn't turned their screen off? That's not a good experience for the brand. It's not a good experience for the traveler. It's not a good experience for the airline, right? We want to think about these things in terms of how to make it better. I get to my destination. If I look at my app, my United app, it shows me where my ride share is, where my baggage is. I can actually see if my bag is off the plane and where it's going. Then my return home as well. These are all parts of the traveler journey. And some are actually when you're traveling, some where you're sitting around not doing anything, right? I sit around fantasizing about what beach I can be on for the most part. And I do this at work at times as well. But like it's the idea of I'm always thinking about what the next adventure is. And if I'm in a position where I don't have to think as much and I can actually have things tailored to my interest put in front of me, I think it's amazing. And that's what we're trying to do. So coming from ad tech, and my boss is from ad tech as well, every ad tech presentation has a flywheel in it. So voila, we brought the flywheel to the travel industry. But we talk about three pillars, right? Travel, loyalty, and media. Travel is fairly straightforward. We fly you from point A to point B, right? Duh. But here's the cool part about the industry for airlines. I know exactly who you are. I have to by law. If I'm not Mike Petrella, I can't get on the plane. And if I do get on the plane, I get off the plane and get a very, very nice massage from people in the blue shirts, right? But that's part of it. And from that information, I can make inferences. Well, if Mike is traveling Tuesdays and Thursdays to Chicago by himself, he's probably a business traveler. But if he's traveling with a woman named Michelle Petrella and two girls named Anna Petrella and Lucy Petrella who happen to be kids, that's probably leisure travel. And they may not be traveling to Chicago from Tuesday to Thursday. Great. Insights, right? Start to build those profiles. Well, now I become part of our loyalty membership team or loyalty member program. Now I understand, well, he's a Bonvoy member and he's also a Hilton Honors member. He will soon be an AKA member because it's really cool and I have two dogs and I would love for them to get a note. It was a really good presentation. I don't know where you are. I can't see with the lights. It's really good. But case in point, I also have a co-brand credit card, right? So now I'm building more and more in terms of the intelligence and insights I can extract from this data, right? And this is important because now in beyond just the leisure traveler or the business traveler, I understand that Mike is a huge golfer. Mike is a huge foodie. Mike is not going country line dancing. Not a chance in hell, right? So don't put it in front of him. But that's the thing. If I'm on a plane and I say, Mike, go country line dancing, I'm like, no. I play music. I can't dance to it. I can't help. So now we're at that second pillar where I've had more and more insights. I was brought on to United to build connective media, and I did such a good job of it that I don't work on it anymore. But that connective piece is it's a connective tissue from all parts of the funnel. That transactional piece, mid to low funnel, is where I can understand what is the right offer to put in front of you. What's the right message, the experience? What's the right content? Content can be an ad. Content can be something written. Content can be nothing because it's not the right time. But I also have that connective piece back up to the very top, right? The brand affinity, the brand loyalty. Good leads the way. Chief trash officer. Things to that effect. We're like, hey, United's sustainable, right? I'm sustainable. I really like this. We're like green friends. Super, right? This flywheel, it's a self-fulfilling flywheel because as I become more personalized to the individual, it's more incentive to fly United. I don't have to worry about getting offers that aren't relevant to me. I don't have to think about what I want to do because they know that, hey, you should play these 4 golf courses when you get there. And here's an opportunity for restaurants that you would absolutely love. And we're not going to show you anything about line dancing, right? I'll get off the line dancing soon. But that's the idea that we're doing. And as we do more and more of this, we get more travelers and more data and more loyalty. And that media drives more transactions for our partners. It drives more transactions for the airline. It drives more interest for the individual flyer. So it's working, right? We just did this. Historically, Mileage Plus was very fragmented. It was your program, silver, gold, platinum, gold, 1K, global services. It was your co-brand credit card. It was the accrual and loyal and redemption, right? Earn miles or use miles, right? Bringing the media piece in there is a big piece. Bringing the digital content and marketing team is a big piece. We took the magazine off the plane. Ah! When I said that, you would think I was taking people's first children from them, right? Well, guess what? I can now publish daily. By the end of this year, we will have 330 Three Perfect Days articles for every destination we fly to. And I can create commerce opportunities. You can book your hotel right within that article. You can book your restaurant reservation. You can book your hiking tour. You can even freaking book line dancing if you want, right? That's the idea. But I can also say, I'm not going to show Mike anything about skiing. I'm not going to do it. Right? I got flat feet or duck feet and bad knees. It doesn't work for me, right? But if I show him one of our beach vacations, like Barcelona, where I'm going this summer, I may actually go. Right? Again, personalization, innovation, things to that effect. And we're constantly doing more. As I said, we're people, right? I'm not a traveler. I'm a person. I have things I like. I have things I love. I have things I don't love. You probably understand what they are at this point in time, right? It is the ability to really leverage what I know about you and actually apply it to it, right? Not just knowing it and just saying, oh, great, this person likes baseball. Like, show them a freaking ticket, right? And it's that journey. The journey is the important piece, right? When you're on a journey, you may not even know you're on the journey. When you're sitting at home and just browsing around, you may see something of interest and suddenly it's the greatest epiphany in the world. No, it's actually personalization. It's the opportunity to put the right message in front of the right person, right? And then we think about it and like actually how to do it, right? I can talk about everything we're doing, but if we can't actually do it, it's really fluff. So we think about it. Our app. Our app is an award-winning app. One of the coolest things was within 3 weeks of me starting, I got to go to Miami and receive an award for business travelers about our app. I had no idea what I was doing, but I stood on stage and I said, "Thank you very much." Right? Awesome. Right? United.com. Pretty self-intuitive, right? It's a website, right? But at the end of the day, you have opportunities not only to book a flight to hotels and packages, cars, cruises, things to that effect. Within the airport, we've taken over our signage, right? In clubs, now it's actual content and advertisements for things that are relevant to you. The digital out of home, or not digital out of home, sorry, GIDS, gate information displays. I'm still learning the acronyms, right? Not only does it show you the weather, the plane capacity, things to that effect, there are messages that are content relevant. And we made real choices too. Like there was one, I remember, a unique example of a Burger King. Get fries and something for $4. Not in airports. Like that's sovereign pricing. It's like $57 for that stuff, right? But we took it off because it wasn't relevant, right? I don't want someone being like, "How the heck am I supposed to do this?" And that Burger King over there is charging an arm and a leg. So again, more personalization content to that effect. Onboard's getting really cool, and this is like I'm super excited about this. You might have heard we launched Starlink last week. We had 60 people on a flight last week who had two connected devices each. They were gaming, they were FaceTiming, they were like, and it worked perfectly. Yesterday was our first commercial flight. Here's the secret: that plane had Starlink on it for 3 weeks prior, right? We just didn't tell anybody. And so, like, as we think about this onboard piece, every single one of our planes will have a brand new dynamic screen, right? The current fleet is being retrofitted. Every new plane that's being delivered by both Boeing and Airbus will have these screens. We are going to redefine the way that the in-flight experience works because when you're at home, you can get anything you want here. When you're in the air, you can't get anything. Or you may, and it may stop. That's not a good journey, right? And in some cases, you just may want to veg out, look at bright, shiny colors and listen to music. You may want to order your groceries if you're coming home on the weekend. You may want to book a hotel. You may want to look at a flight map and see, is there a concert? Is there a sporting event? Is there a comedy club? Whatever the case. What if I could just like touch the screen and do that? And what if it knew that I wanted to go see baseball? What if it knew that I know I'm flying and I can't watch the PGA Championship? Right? These are the things we're thinking about. These are things we're doing. Right? It's a lot of fun. Offsite and social media. Actually, we have a really good advertising team. The stuff that we run is hilarious and relevant. And we do it for that reason, right? We want to talk to the individual, right? We're not just saying like United's great, this and that. Like we change it from we fly to 330 beach vacations or destinations. So how many are there? Is that a lot? Is that a little? It's now more about you. We fly when it's right for you. We have this really cool campaign that says like it says a family with a small child, flights during nap time, right? Because it resonates for that individual. No one cares what the airline does. It cares what the airline does for you, right? And that's really the messaging that we have. Email is always incredibly effective because I'm literally saying, hey, you know, you, Jeff, email for you because you like this. And you're like, oh, Mike, thanks so much, right? I'm sure you do that every time I email you. Now, who had on their bingo card the airline guy with a knife on a slide? It did pass marketing, so I'm not, maybe they didn't look at it, but like when we talk about the loyalty piece, we talk about the utility of the mile as well. Points, miles, right? They become interchangeable at times, but at the end of the day, you want to show what that utility is. And to have it as a separate currency, to have it as something that can subsidize purchases is incredibly important. So for us, we think about, okay, yes, you're probably going to use it most likely to bid on or to redeem for a ticket, an upgrade, baggage, whatever the case is. What if I can actually make it more, what's the word for utility? Utilized. We'll get there. I didn't go out last night. That's the worst part. So we have experiences. Marriott does a great job. American Express does a great job. United does a great job. You can take batting practice to the White Sox, and at this point, if you're good enough there, you might get a contract to play that night, right? We had experiences where you had wine with John Legend in San Francisco. That's not a terrible thing. We go to festivals. We were at the Tortuga Festival, where you could redeem miles for a beach chair. I don't know if you've ever been festival. Like as you get older, you need to sit, right? I can't anymore. And the idea is really just like, how do I take that mile and extend it beyond whatever you were thinking to do? And that's what we're trying to do. What if you went to a store and it said Visa, American Express, Mileage Plus? You're like, wait, I can use miles for this? Not yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe not. I know. Can't tell secrets. Um, but here's the other piece, right? There's a cafeteria style of like, hey, here's everything you can do with your miles. Ugh. Like now I gotta look. I gotta figure it out. What if I just gave it to you exactly the way you wanted it, right? Hey, by the way, you have 50,000 miles. Here's how you can book 6 dinners and 4 adventures over your next trip. Well, thank you, right? Now I don't have to think. Like the less you think, the better off you typically are. And when we use those insights, that's what we're trying to do. It's learning, right? We're not going to get it right every single time. Right? You may not be a basketball fan. We tried. You may not be hockey. All right, let's just forget about sports, right? Maybe you want to go on a wine tour, things to that effect. Go to the zoo. I have no idea. But the idea is for us to understand and to begin to curate and tailor more. And the more we interact, the more tailor we have. Um, and we talked about this, like just be more personal. I'm actually going to skip the video because I'm running short on time, but I'll share this otherwise. Yep. But we think about it, right? This is a really old picture, and it's an old picture for a reason because loyalty programs typically have cars and hotels and cruises. Super. Yay. What if you want to actually go to a concert? Now you can. Oh my gosh. Partnership, right? We partner with Vivid Seats. Earn miles, use miles. With our credit card, get accelerated spend, accelerated mileage on that piece. Wonderful. This launches in June. Congratulations. Y'all got a preview. Who here went to the gym this morning? Mikey, I saw you there. Did not see you there. I'm sure you did. But guess what? What if we use miles for Therabody? Right? What if these are things that you do, within your life that you may want to extend to travel. That's the idea. What more can I do? And we talk about this, everyone's like, oh, we are indexed very highly against the business traveler. Okay, cool. That's part of it. And our premieres are incredibly important to us. I'm not downplaying that. But at the end of the day, there's a use case for every single person on the plane. And that's the important piece. And guess what? I'm not going to skip that one. Wi-Fi. Use case for every single person on the plane. 63 million Spanish-speaking Americans in the U.S. 25% of Chicago's population is Hispanic. Guess what? VIX has its own dedicated channel on in-flight entertainment, Spanish language content. And you can earn miles if you download the VIX streaming platform. And you can use miles to pay for your VIX subscription, right? It's important to us to understand how we can provide something on a tailored basis to every single person on our plane. And this is just the start. Over the course of the next month, you're going to be hearing a lot of cool stuff coming out from United on non-air partnership stuff. I'm really proud of the work we've been doing. And quite frankly, as each of these presentations have come up, I want to talk to each and every one of you. AKA, I know when people are traveling for a month at a time. Right? Great, let's put that in front of them, right? Canada, I know who's going there, right? Let's figure out how we do more. Where are you? There you are. Those are the things that are exciting to me because, again, I don't come from the airline space. My job is to make up stuff and see if it works. And some days are really good, and some days I'm fighting for my job to say why I said what I did say, right? But that's what we're bringing forth. This is no longer like the legacy loyalty program, right? We are redefining the way we talk to our customers, our travelers, our people. We are redefining the way we're leveraging data for those insights. We are redefining the travel journey. And to me, that's the most exciting piece because I actually get to play a part of it, right? And it's a lot of fun. But more importantly, we have a whole team, a whole organization who's dedicated to this. And so you'll see over the course, again, next month, it's just the start of it, just to be clear, right? We launched in Cannes last year for Connective. Loyalty 2.0 is on its way out publicly, but it's going to get better and better. So in summary, and I did use AI to help with this presentation. So there's my AI piece. You got to make it about people when it comes down to it. They're not customers, they're not travelers, they're people, and they can choose to fly anyone, right? They should want to fly United because it's their journey. The benefits and rewards have to be relevant too, right? It has to be valuable, it has to be complementary, it has to be efficient. These partnerships are important too. You got to think way beyond what you've thought before, right? There's partnerships that are coming out that I would never thought we would have done, right? Someone mentioned Nike Run Club. Who knew Nike had a good loyalty program? There's athletes everywhere. I have a pair of Nike shoes in my bag, right? And then at the end of the day, if this is my program, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to grow with it, and I'm going to be a member forever. So, any questions? 25 seconds left.
All right, what questions do we have for Mike?
It's Canada calling.
Hello, Canada.
Um, in the future, will the seat screen know it's me and
Yes.
what I like and that I normally have?
Yeah, but so
The
by law, it
water.
doesn't manifest today, right?
Yeah.
I know who you are. The idea is to have that seat in specific seat back targeting.
Will
Does
it
it
know I
happen today?
watched halfway through a movie on the way to JFK and that it'll
It
bring it back up for me on my way home?
depends what you share,
Okay.
right? There's certain things like
That's cool.
there's certain insights we can have, but at the same time, we're also dependent upon, um, information from our travelers.
Hi, Charles with ad.com. Um, so I've seen a lot of loyalty programs reach out into lots of partnerships for their travelers. What's the response from the travelers since a lot of times you think of the carriers and you say they've been commoditized as just carriers. Do they respond well? How do they respond to the partnerships and opportunities?
We're just getting started. Like I just started working with this team in March of last year. Our first two partnerships were GoPuff and Turo, that were brand new and the first partner in a while, and so it's resonating well with like the local, more urban local areas for GoPuff. Turo had a bit of a bump. They had some awful things happen that were associated to their brand over the new year, but they've since come out. I get wrong place, wrong time, but have since come out stronger. What we're getting from an NPS standpoint really is more so like there's more variety, right? That utility of what I can do is better. And for us, it's more about like it's the growth. We're growing 8% year over year, right? And we're actually going to grow significantly over this year because you have to be a Mileage Plus member to access Starlink for free. It's pretty cool, right? And so as we do that, I think we're going to see more and more pieces. It's sort of like we haven't gotten bad news. And that's the important piece. Because when you talk about data collaboration, when you talk about personalization, the example is why did I get a happy birthday from my bank? Right? Like, why? Right? So like there is that like that line of creepy and convenient. But there's also this expectation of targeting. Like the minute you see something that's not relevant to you, you're like, but yet you don't appreciate the fact that everything that goes in for that tailored approach. And so right now we're on the ascent in terms of NPS. We're on the ascent in terms of relevancy from a program standpoint. And if you look at like, revenue per loyalty program by airline, we're doing really well there. We just released our family of cards refresh. We have Ty from Modern Family as our spokesperson in the commercials. Please get one and get a card too. Um, but these are all the steps we're taking. I think over the course of the next year, you're going to see a lot that's going to define what we're doing. Um, we're just getting started, and that's not like a key line. It's honestly just kind of getting started.
All right, any final questions?
Cool.
All
That's all.
right, Mike, thank you so much.